Hello everyone, my name is Robert Worm, and in today's video I want to talk about former airport Berlin-Tegel. I'm a Berliner, and not only do I have some personal memories of Tegel, a strong interest in history, I also found some add-on sceneries for Tegel in Microsoft Flight Simulator. And in this video I want to begin with some historic facts about Tegel Airport and Berlin. Tegel, located in the northwest of Berlin, had already been used to accommodate an airship hangar and as a rocket testing facility. After the Second World War, by the time of the Berlin blockade, Tegel belonged to the French sector and was then upgraded with one runway to support the Berlin airlift. With its length of 2,428 meters, it was the longest runway in Europe at that time. Berlin's main airport was Tempelhof, which was located in the city center and handled nearly all of the traffic of the Berlin airlift. Due to the success of the Berlin airlift, West Berlin did not fall into the hands of the Soviets. Geographically located as an exclave of the Western world, in the midst of the Soviet-occupied territory, international law regulated how you could travel to and from West Berlin. With regard to the air travel, only airlines of the USA, the United Kingdom and France were allowed to operate flights to and from West Berlin. That included flights linking the city to the Federal Republic of Germany. Additionally, all flight deck crews operating these flights were required to hold passports with one of the three Western Allied countries. Lufthansa could not fly to Tegel. The very first terminal facility of Tegel Airport was at its northern side. Remember what we said about Tegel's runway? Yes, it was very long for the time, and by 1960 the jet age had reached Berlin. Airplanes like the Sud Aviation Caravelle, the Boeing 707 and the Douglas DC-8, they really needed long runways, and in Tempelhof they could only operate with restricted payload. The new Tegel Airport was just the right place to go with such jets. Air France was the first carrier who switched their operation from Tempelhof to Tegel with its Caravelle. They were followed by some charter airlines, by Pan Am and British European Airways. Besides that, the French Armée de l'Air used Tegel as an airbase too. Consequently, the amount of traffic that Tegel had to handle increased quite a lot, and by 1965 it was clear that a new terminal was needed and a design competition was held. Architects Meinhard von Gerkan and company were the winners with the iconic hexagon terminal that was constructed mainly for purpose of short walking distances for passengers. It was opened in 1974. The motorway A111 went into service around that time and provided a quick connection to the center of West Berlin by car or by bus. With regard to West Berlin practically being an isolated city, and with the subsequent construction of the A100 motorway, the airport was pretty well integrated into the city's transportation system. The northern facilities were then closed for public transport while the French military presence lasted until 1994. The original design capacity was 7 million passengers per year. If you look from above, you may notice that the geometric layout suggests a second hexagon at the other side of the road. This was indeed kept in mind, but never constructed due to budget constraints. Nevertheless, after the reunification, extensions with new terminals of simpler design increased the capacity of Tegel Airport to a point when it handled 24 million passengers in 1 year, being then the fourth busiest German airport. And at this point, the airport was just cramped and crowded. Before that, in 1986, it was not only Lufthansa's 60th birthday, the airline had ordered its 200th Boeing aircraft. And even more, it was Berlin's 750th birthday celebrations. So West Berlin should receive a present by Boeing and Lufthansa, a Boeing 707 in an old Lufthansa livery. Do you remember what we noted about the international regulations? Yes, Lufthansa couldn't fly to Berlin. The solution was to cover the Lufthansa paint with stickers and fly it to Tegel with an American crew by night. By the next morning, they pulled off the stickers, and there it was, the Lufthansa Boeing 707 placed in front of the terminal where you could walk around. Later, the aircraft was placed somewhere else, where it deteriorated and was scrapped in the end. To be correct, the airplane had an intermittent job. It was used for firefighting exercises. I am born in 1986, and I've been here the first time in 1989, then a few times in the early 90s. Moments that I still remember very well. First, I was impressed by that taxiway bridge crossing the road when a jet crossed the bridge while we were driving through it. Second, I had a close contact with the old Boeing 707 when it was still standing in front of the terminal. I liked to walk around that plane, but being lifted up and have my head placed right in front of the engine exhaust was something that I did not like. Third, I remember being at the visitors' platform at a very young age. As you can see, you could place yourself pretty close to the runways, and those old jets were making a hell of a noise. Fourth, inside the terminal, in the middle of an escalator, a jet engine was partially opened and being rotated by an electrical motor, which attracted my attention. I did soon understand that this thing is what makes the hell of a noise that I had just experienced. From this early contact with the airport, I couldn't let go of airplanes. I consciously noticed and watched them always. By the reunification in 1990, Lufthansa commenced service in and out of Tegel by taking over the former Pan Am internal German service. However, they did not decide to use Tegel as a hub. Air Berlin, USA reconstituted itself as a German company, and Air Berlin used Tegel as one of their hubs. When Air Berlin ceased in 2017, EasyJet took over their hub. In a nutshell, what were the advantages of Tegel Airport? Initially a long runway for jet aircraft, later quick connections to the city center and short walking distances from the entrance to your plane. Well, what were disadvantages? I think it was just too small in the end, and as you can see, it lacked connections by train. What did the Berliners say in 2017? They were asked whether it should be kept open besides the new Berlin-Brandenburg airport, or if it should be closed. A majority of the Berliners voted to keep it open, but the airport authorities denied that. After many delays with the new airport, it finally closed on 8th of November in 2020. The last flight to depart Tegel was Air France to Paris Charles de Gaulle, 60 years after Air France commenced the first commercial operation at Tegel Airport. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like the videos that I make, consider liking and subscribing. See you soon. Bye bye.